Pets come in all shapes and sizes, each requiring its owner to provide a home, shelter, companionship, and make a commitment to the animal's health and welfare. When issues arise and basic needs become compromised, absent adoption, it's only a matter of time before euthanasia becomes the answer. To Pete and Kit Jagoda, owners of River's Wish Animal Sanctuary in northwest Spokane, animals are given a chance to exist and thrive with an open opportunity for adoption. Begun in 1995, primarily as a rescue for dogs and cats, and after becoming aware that rabbits were the third most common animals at the shelter, River's Wish created Thumpqua, a rabbit foster home of sorts, meant to house primarily rabbits for eventual adoption.
The thing that got us involved was just becoming aware of the plight of animals, and it just seemed like it was something that we felt a call to do, I guess. You know, we felt that we wanted to help in any way we could.
I said, you know, we're going to end up keeping a lot of these dogs, which we did, but we also found homes for a lot of dogs as well. Then there were cats, there were bunnies, just about any animal you could imagine. They needed homes or someone to help. So it just sort of grew. And one thing led to another, and the next thing you know, there are animals everywhere.
Operating an animal sanctuary is no small job. Money for feed, litter, and veterinary care can add up quickly. But with the help of many hands, along with tax-deductible donations, the operation of the facility glides along smoothly.
I love rabbits. Rabbits are very subtle animals, and they make great family pets, and they make great pets for people that work 8 to 5 because they sleep a lot during the day. And they're very subtle. They're different than cats and dogs in that they don't come to you. You go to them most of the time. So that works for a lot of people, especially me.
Our volunteers are wonderful. They're very committed. They come out every week. So yeah, it takes a village, I guess. You know, it really does. And we're really lucky to have some really good people involved.
Both being artists and teachers as day jobs, Kit teaching art for Spokane Public Schools and Pete teaching jewelry at Spokane Falls Community College, art produced in the gallery and metal shop eventually are sold with proceeds going to help fund both their sanctuary and other animal-related causes in the Spokane area.
Financially, we're funneling quite a bit into the operation. And what I've started doing recently is doing commission paintings, and then hopefully generating an interest there, and then having that money go back into the organization.
I think the artists have a certain sensitivity towards a lot of things around them in their environment. We both just happen to, be very fond of animals, and a lot of that has to do with River.
River's Wish Animal Sanctuary is named after our dog River, and River was a very, very special dog. I adopted him from the Spokane Humane Society in 1986. He was just the best dog. I don't know, there's something about the connection between humans and animals that he was able to teach. We wanted to honor him by naming this after him. Rabbits are very misunderstood. They're very sensitive, they're very social, they're very territorial. So there's a lot to learn about rabbits. And what people often don't realize is that they do well with a bonded pair or even with a small group because they are so social. So what we try to do is once we have them spayed and neutered, we try to introduce them to another rabbit so that they can have a companion. We follow the House Rabbit Society philosophy, and the idea is that all of our rabbits are spayed and neutered. They're all house trained to a litter pan, and we want them all to be house rabbits. Most of the people that we adopt to are either very rabbit savvy to begin with, or they're really open to learning, and they really are interested in having a lifelong companion. Rabbits live 10 to 12 years. And so we've had a lot of luck and a lot of success in placing the rabbits.
With 3 different groups of feral rabbits, which are domesticated rabbits that have been turned loose, space is at a premium, with little room for more.
The thing is with the feral rabbits, they really don't want to have much to do with people, you know, because that would be John. So we have a predator-proof area where we have the feral bunnies, where nothing can get in from above, nothing can get in from down below. The rabbits are safe, and it gives them, you know, a lot of space and room, and they're well protected. It's just unbelievable how much need there is out there. And unfortunately, you know, we can only do so much.
You know, we can't do this forever, I know that. And when people say, well, what do you get out of it? Well, I'd say it saves us that problem of trying to figure out what to do on vacation. You know, we don't have to spend all that money on vacation.
Both Pete and I feel very committed to what we're doing. We're very focused on making sure that the animals are happy and that they're cared for well here, and that if an animal does go to a new home, that home is going to be an excellent home. So we share the vision. We both feel very strongly about the animals and about doing what we can to help them as much as we can.
If you have an idea for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, 3911 South Regal, Spokane, Washington 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS Public Television.